Hi, I'm Bill Varney from FishTheSurf.com, and today we're going to talk about preparing for the beach. You know, in order to be a successful surf angler, you really do need to prepare in advance for the beach, and here's some tips to get you going. First of all, at the very latest, start the night before. Be sure to check your rod and reel and make sure that your rod is in the great condition that you need it to be at the beach, that your reel is in good condition, that your drag is working, and also that your line is in good shape. If your line is not in good shape and it's maybe the beginning of your surf fishing season, it's time to replace all the line on your reel, and then keep your eye on your reel during the summer or your surf fishing period, and when the line starts to fade, it's time to replace that line. So check your rod and reel combination, make sure that's ready to go, check your drag and try to set your drag, and then make sure your line is in fantastic condition. The second thing that you want to do is you want to get your bait ready in advance. If I'm using something like lures, grubs, gulp bait, things like that, I want to look at those and make sure I've got those ready in advance and in my pack. So when it comes to my gulp bait, I'm going to take a look at that and make sure that I've got enough of them and that they're not dried out. When it comes to my Durascent baits, I'm going to make sure that I've got those too and that they're in my pack. And then if I'm also going to be fishing with grubs, I'm going to make sure that I have my packs of grubs in several different colors. Then when it comes to live baits, for example, if I had clams or mussels, I would want to shuck those clams and mussels the night before I go. I want to save the juice from them and put both the juice and the inside of those into a Ziploc bag and then put that in the refrigerator so it's nice and cool and fresh for the morning the next day. If I have ghost shrimp that I've either caught myself or picked up from the store, I'm going to bring those home and I'm going to put them in an ice chest with about this much water in it, with about probably a third to half full of salt water. And I'm going to keep that salt water cool overnight by taking a frozen bottle of water and floating it in there. That way in the morning I know that not only are the ghost shrimp in great shape, but that cooler water has slowed down their metabolism, has given them a brighter color, and has also made them crisp, which makes them easier for me to hook when they're crisp and actually better in the surf because they'll be more natural in their presentation. And then the next thing would be sand crabs and sidewinder crabs. When I go down to the beach and catch those, and I know with sand crabs I can maybe only keep those crabs 3 or 4 days, I'm also going to pick up a bottle of salt water while I'm down there. I'm going to cool it by keeping it in my refrigerator, and then twice a day in the morning and the evening I'm going to rinse those crabs off and then pour off that excess water to make sure that they stay cool and they're ready to go the next day. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-tie leaders in advance. If you remember from some of my other videos, I have different size leaders depending on the size of the surf. The bigger the surf, the shorter my leader. The smaller the surf, the longer my leader. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie between 6 and 12 leaders in advance. I'm going to put them on a leader holder like this. Very simple. This is neoprene. It's got little cuts in the bottom of here which allows you to put the line around it and then hold the line into place. You can also make one of these out of cardboard. They're very easy to make. Just cut a little square and cut some slits in one side of it and you're ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie probably 6 to 12 leaders, anywhere from about 10 inches in length to 24 or 26 inches in length, and have them ready. The reason I want to do that is the last thing I want to do is be down at the beach first thing in the morning when the light is really, really low and very difficult to see, and most likely the fish are biting, and I'm spending 20 minutes or half an hour tying a leader. This way they're tied in advance, so if you break off a leader, you need to cut off your hook to let the fish go. The line breaks, you get a knot in it, you're ready to go. You can take one of your leaders, put it right on your line, you're ready to cast out and catch another fish. So tie your leaders in advance, put them on a leader holder, you'll be ready to go. The next thing that you want to remember in preparing for the beach is get your camera ready in advance. So you might be using your phone, you might be using a standalone camera. The thing to remember with those is you want to make sure that A, the batteries are already charged, you have fully charged batteries, and B, and really importantly, something so easily forgotten, is clean the lens off the night before you go to the beach, so that when you go to take that picture, you're ready to go and there's no spots on your lens. So prepare your camera, your batteries, clean your lens. Do that in advance so that when you get to the beach and you catch a nice fish, it's easy for you to take a picture of that. The next thing you want to do is you want to organize your tackle in your tackle bag. Now, I like to use what I call a neck wallet, a very small tackle bag. That's one of the great things about light line surf fishing is there's very little equipment that you need, so it can be easily carried in a neck wallet like this, in a small backpack, in a waist fanny pack. All of those work great in the surf. So you want to get that prepared in advance. So the things I put in my bag in advance is I normally put in 10 number 12 swivels, black swivels, and 10 is probably the most used size that I use. I'll use a 10, a 12, or a 14, 14 being the smallest, but most of the time a 12. So 10 number 12 swivels, 10 6mm beads, 5 clear, 5 color, the clear ones for Corbina, the color ones for all of the other surffish who are attracted to those colors. And then I'm going to have, in addition to that, I'm going to bring along a small spool of 6-pound fluorocarbon. Although I've tied my leaders in advance, I may need some fluorocarbon while I'm at the beach there. The next thing I'm going to have in addition to that is I'm going to have 6 worm hooks. So these are long shank hooks, and you could get a Mustad Sproat hook, S-P-R-O-A-T. Those work great. I usually like size number 2 for those. For my regular fishing hooks, I'm going to sand crab hooks, I'm going to use a 1, a 2, or a 4, depending on the size of the bait for sure. But in most cases, for worms, for ghost shrimp, for the lip of a mussel, any long bait, I'm going to use a number 2 size worm hook. So you can get a Gamakatsu worm hook, which has a perfectly straight J shape, or the Mustad Sproat hook. Those work great. You want to always have those in your bag. In addition to that, I'm going to have a zip top bag for my grubs with a little bit of hot sauce in it, a couple little packets of hot sauce from Del Taco, Taco Bell, Panda Express, whoever you like. Squeeze those into a bag. Every 4 or 5 casts, dip my bait in there so it's got some flavor to it for when the fish bite it and hang on to it. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring with me 6 or more sliding egg sinkers. Those are going to be 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce. The smaller the surf, the lighter my sinker. The bigger the surf, the heavier my sinker. I might even bring in the summer a couple of 1-ouncers with me if it's windy in the afternoon. So those are the things that you need to prepare and put inside of your tackle bag to get ready for the next day. The next thing that you want to do is you want to check beach conditions. And there's a couple of ways to do that. One way is, for example, to go to my site, fishthesurf.com, and look on our cams page. And you can see cameras at Carpinteria, Huntington Beach, Hermosa Beach, Carlsbad, up and down the California coast. By looking at these, and specifically looking at them at the time of day when you would normally be going to the beach fishing, gives you a very good idea of how crowded it is, how big the surf is, whether the water is clear or turbid. All of the information that you're going to need to know about the conditions down at the beach. You can do that either by going to a site like mine or going to hbcams.com for Huntington Beach, or other cams that you can favorite and then look at on an often basis to get a very good idea of the conditions down there before you go to the beach. Another great place to look is on Facebook. If you check out Facebook and look for the fish reports on things like California surf fishing, go into the search box, type in California surf fishing, West Coast surf fishing, there'll be numerous reports on there from beaches up and down the coast of fish caught, equipment used, tackle used, conditions. All of that information is going to help you become a better surf angler because you'll know what to expect the next day when you go down to the beach. So check the beach conditions before you go. And I normally start checking my beach conditions about a week or 5 days before I actually go down surf fishing. So I'm familiar on each day of how it is and how maybe it's changed between the days. The next thing you want to check out is your waves. The surf forecast is very important. You want to know the direction of the swell, the size of the swell, and the duration between swells. So the closer the duration is between swells, the more waves there's going to be, the more turbulent it will be. The longer duration between swells has nothing to do with the size of the swell, but will have a lot to do with the current created by the swell. So if you go to sites like wavecast.com or fishweather.com, these are great places to go and get information about the upcoming swells. Not only what's happening today and tomorrow, but a lot of these sites will take you out 10, 15, 20 days in the future, especially when it's concerning swells, because the information that comes from those is generally from buoys, and that's very accurate information. You'll be able to learn well in advance how big the surf is. So for example, if there's a big swell coming in and it's coming from the north, you know that you want to fish on a south-facing beach. So use that swell information to prepare for the next day. The next thing that you want to do is you want to check the tides. What's important is you want to have a good tide chart like this, or there's many online. You may download an app to your phone, but a great tide chart like this allows you to see an entire month in advance of tides so that you can prepare for what tides you want to fish. If I want to fish for Corbina, I'm normally going to fish about an hour or maybe 2 hours after low tide up to high tide. So I'll be looking at my calendar here and the graphic tide chart to figure out what time of day in the morning and the evening, what days of the week and days of the month are going to be best for fishing for that. If I'm fishing for halibut, on the other hand, I'm looking for very small tidal changes. And so I would look at my calendar, and in a week where I saw very, very small tidal changes, like this very first few days of the month, I would know that those would be particularly good days for surf fishing. So looking at your tide chart, planning out your day based on the tide chart is very, very important to surf fishing. Tide is probably one of the most important things that we look at when we're down there surf fishing. And then last but not least, the very last thing that you want to look at is the weather report at places like weather.com and so forth. This will allow you to know if there's an incoming storm, what the winds are going to be like in the morning and the afternoon, and that weather will allow you to prepare for the day. If you see that there's a big storm coming, it's really smart for you to go fishing before that storm gets here, because as that low pressure gangs up and collects along the coast, that pressure really turns on fish to feed, and they will forage right before that storm comes in. Sometimes some of our very best bites are right before a big storm. And then if you know there's going to be a big storm in the morning and it's going to be rough and there's going to be big surf, then you know it's not time to go down to the beach that day. So take all of these tips, put them together, do a little research and preparation the day or days before you go surf fishing, and I guarantee you, you'll be a much better surf angler. We hope you learned something today. To find out more about surf fishing, check out fishthesurf.com. To see the equipment that I use on the beach every single day, go to my store, surffishtackle.com. We'll see you next time.